you are. Thank you again for letting me join you here. Being the Thaness of Cawdor, it's very ironic that I've never actually been to Cawdor before. I'm glad I could finally see it in all its glory. It is quiet this evening. Only a few in their horses have passed us by. It must be due to the cold. Although I do consider myself as having a high tolerance to it. You know me so well on coastal areas giving me a place to relax, particularly upon the stroke of moonlight when they are most peaceful. No one expects anything of you. Of course, I present to you drinks from the tavern. They're not alcoholic or anything, just blackcurrant water. Alcohol is just causing unnecessary trouble, so I'm avoiding it for the time being. Cheers. What's wrong, my friend? It is cold. Do you want to go back to the tavern? But... all right. Here. Sit closer. Closer still. It helps. My, the sunset is gorgeous. I realise that it's always the same every day since the day I was born, and yet it still never fails to astonish me no matter how many times I've seen it. Ross tells me over and over and over again how ridiculous that is, but I disagree. He couldn't be any less appreciative. He tells me things like, "I'd laugh if you were put in the stocks." Oh, he's so nice. I love him. Platonically. I have my eye on someone else. Seriously, keep this between you and me, but her name is Camille. Camille was Cassiopeia's lieutenant / lady in waiting. You remember the Thaness of Fife? I never met Cassiopeia. Possibly once or twice, but I most likely didn't recognise her. I'm closer with her husband. Yes, he literally adopted me when no one else could. No, I do not have a thing for him. I see him as like the older brother I never had. Only child struggles. Whether he sees me romantically or not, that's a different story. I know not if he wants to stay loyal to Cassiopeia, but either way, we're still good friends. Then there's Dawn, endless energy. He truly sees me as the older sister he never had. Ironic enough, since his father seriously resembled my father. Dawn always looks up to me like the paragon of the maternal figure he hardly had, and yet he still jokingly assures me I have no right to tell him what to do when it's something he specifically wants or doesn't want to do because I ain't his mother. I'm old enough to be your mother, I say confidently. It would have been a teen pregnancy, but still, it's possible, I admit, but assure him. I love him nevertheless. Queen Mirade was the mother of King Malcolm and Prince Dawn. Obviously where Dawn gets his ginger hair from. A lot of people assume my hair is ginger just because of how the light hits it, but in actuality, it is a dark auburn brown by night. Either way, my relationship with the other nobles is confusing, but in reality, we all see each other as siblings. Friends are family, right? It never used to be like this. We weren't always this close with one another. Of course, me, Banquo, Chloe, and my husband were all close once upon a time. Then the revolution, as I like to call it, took place, and that all changed. Currently, I may have more friends than I had previously, but at what cost? Losing those closest to you is difficult, but nothing lasts forever. Some things do, which I'll get onto later. But most things are ephemeral. The best thing to do is to cherish the fond memories you had with old acquaintance and focus on making many more to come with the people you have presently. The future isn't something that should be worried about at this point in time. I may have lost 2 of my best friends, admittedly, my only friends at the time, and my husband, but I will and am finding a way to be happy. Not without them, but for them. Just because one thing may stop doesn't mean everything should stop. Life stops for them, but it continues for us. so let it continue. Banquo and my husband are dead. There is no doubt about that. Chloe, on the other hand, I have no idea what happened to her. I won't believe that she is dead until it is confirmed. Despite her disappearance, whether it was by self-sanctuary or not, I will wish her well, wherever she may be. Chloe, I don't think you ever met her. She was my lieutenant, or lady-in-waiting, back when I lived in Dunsinane. In all honesty, though, we were just friends. Sisters, almost. I had known her for nearly 30 years. It may have seemed like our friendship could never be altered, but it was. Although, without this change, I wouldn't have properly acquainted with Macbeth, Ross, Malcolm, Dawn, Camille, Lucille, Thaness, Angus, and of course, you. Macduff I had only met once before all this, and that was when he told me that I could not bear the subject of death just because of my gender. Societal prejudice, am I right? Social prejudice has no right to manipulate your perceptions. No one has the right to manipulate you. You are in charge of your own life and plight. Just don't do anything unethical. Ross I had met a couple times during summits and gatherings. He usually serves as a messenger or peacekeeper between all of us nobles of the country, so it is obvious that I have been acquainted with him before. Other than that, I did meet him once during a banquet at my old castle when I first became queen, and that was the eve that Macbeth was having a panic attack back there. And so, to keep his composure, I threw Ross's water on him. I think that's one of the many reasons why Ross can be slightly hostile toward me at times. I know he means well, though. Technically, it was my water from my tap in my house, right? At least it worked. For a few seconds. Moral of the story is, don't throw cold water on those feeling paranoid. And don't call them a coward either. Let them know that you love them and that everything will be okay. After all, water impedes your breathing, right? 'Tis the eye of childhood that fears a painted devil. Shame itself that you make such faces. Wouldst rather be a woman's story at a winter's fire, authorized by her grandam. Shame itself. It's a fricking chair, Macbeth. That is a prime example of what not to tell someone who's having an anxiety/panic attack. It's like if the doctor told me to ignore the pain because it's all in my leg. Like, that's not how it works. Either way, Malcolm and Tom, I had met them a couple times during gatherings, but we only spoke once or twice. Camille I had never met before I came to Macduff's castle. Lucille obviously didn't come to Scotland until after Malcolm's reign began. Then there's Angus, who I had met a couple times during gatherings. He seems nice. But then there's Thaness. She had always been against me. Even since before the revolution, our personalities clashed a lot. Admittedly, a lot of people had grown to hate me due to my relation with Macbeth, but she was a whole other story. She doesn't like or trust a lot of people. On a lighter note, there was a really cute cat the other day called Grey Malkin. Well, that's what everyone tells me her name is. Usually she just hisses at me or runs away, but this time she let me stroke her. Moral of the story is not to dwell on the negativity of what's lost for too long, and to appreciate the good that comes out of the changes and revolutions. There will be good, but there will also be bad. Don't let the bad overshadow the good. That's what Camille told me. Honour those we've lost, but appreciate those we've gained. A lot is different, and a lot of people have changed since the revolution. But I know one person who could never change. Menteith. They have always been the same. Always energetic, optimistic, empathetic. We have always been good friends, despite the fact Macbeth had always been in a conflict with them ever since they brought chocolate cupcakes to their birthday party, knowing fine well that Macbeth was allergic to chocolate. Knowing fine well that Macbeth was allergic to chocolate. But it's not funny at the end of the day, is it? It's serious. Yes, it is funny. Angus, Thaness, Menteith. And then there's you. Gifted, talented, admirable, honourable, inspiring, and a pleasure to have. You make me happy. Without this revolution, I wouldn't have met you. Our paths would have never crossed, and I'd never get to share this moment with you. Keep close. No. Come closer. Why does the ocean breeze always mess my hair up? Can't have nice things anymore. May I comb yours real quick? There we go. My, you do look gorgeous. What? No, this comb isn't mine. It used to be Macbeth's, but since my brush broke, I've been using it. Doesn't really work for all my hair though, so I do steal Camille's from time to time. Of course, I washed the comb before I began using it. I keep it as a souvenir of my love. I miss you, my lord. I'm sorry, I can't help it. He was the only man I've ever felt this way for. I'm a hopeless romantic for countless women, but yes, but Macbeth, he seemed to be the only one who loved me back. Not just for sexual pleasure. My relationship with Macbeth and the way I remember him is complicated. Most days I partake in the pain that everyone else remembers him by, while some days I truly remember the love he once felt for me and the virtue within his heart before everything collapsed. Remembering the goodness is difficult, as it perpetuates the grief, but remembering him as his tyrannous side just perpetuates the painful memories. I realize we should cherish the good that has happened and appreciate that the torment in the past has come to an end. If it keeps on raining, the levee's going to break. Huh? Is that the Northern Lights? I've heard tales of them, but I've never actually seen them before. I didn't actually know you could see them from here. They are stunning. See, the world brings good and bad. You've just got to appreciate the good while it lasts. Because nothing lasts forever. Even cold November rain. Alright, it's cold. Let's go back to the tavern. Come on, if I'm cold, you must be freezing. No, I don't want to leave you out here. Plus, I'm not walking past the crackheads by myself, and neither are you. I know all I've mentioned is that everything is ephemeral, so I know the cold will pass, but that's going to be a long time from now. There's hot cocoa at the tavern, or whatever you want, you can have it. Seriously, I have Malcolm's wallet, it's fine. No, he gave it to me. I'm actually kind of broke at the moment. As long as we're only spending it on necessities, it's fine. No problem at all. Most importantly though, thank you for joining me here. And happy Shakespeare Day.